Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stock Talk Thursday. It is the 17th of March. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm glad to be on with you all. I hope you got the new time correct. We are now meeting from here on out. It'll be noon time, Central Time. And so we wanted to do that to help allow more people to be able to join. It seemed like the previous time wasn't working out quite as well for some people. I know a few of you had mentioned that, so we wanted to go ahead and help you out there. We're hoping that we're catching you on your lunch break, so that it would be a time that you can just kind of watch, participate, throw in comments and questions. We would love for this to be interactive. So it's Thursday, so it's what's hot and what's not. Let's dive in. Let's see what the market's been doing. And we'll recap last week's hot and not, see where those guys are, and then we'll move on to this week's. So let's go ahead and share the screen here. There we go. Pull this on over here. All right, you guys should be seeing my screen, and it looks like you are. Fantastic. All right, so we're going to jump straight in here. Got the market. We're in a bear market. It has been downtrending. You can see the high and the low. There, now you can see better. The high, the low, lower high, lower low, lower high again, but we failed to make an even lower low. What we did make in here is a little bit of a W pattern that followed through yesterday and brought us right back up to this, longer term resistance line here. And now we're sitting right at resistance. It's a live market, so who knows what's going to happen the next 3 hours. This candle right now is showing that it wants to break through this resistance line. That could change the whole game. If that happens, we could be looking at maybe another bull market, or maybe just a pop out anomaly and then come back down to the bear market. Things have been very newsy. The whole war going on with in Ukraine has really been determining a lot of the direction of the market. We did move down quite a bit the last few days. There have been some peace talks, and so far there's still some peace talks going on, and so that's been a big part of the market moving up. The market also really liked what the Fed had to say yesterday, and yesterday in the last hour of the market, the market moved up about 100 points just in the last hour. So that was pretty crazy. So that's just kind of wanted to give you an idea of where we are currently. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is hot and what's not last week. So last week's hot stock, there we go. We were looking at NOV. It's one of those energy stocks again. And, well, energy has not held up very well this last week. It was kind of expected that at some point energy as a whole would retrace some. The question was when. Energy was really, going up, and then really took off in the last month. And you can see some of these moves up here. That's just crazy. In the last week, it has been coming down. Now, NOV specifically looks like it might have found some support at the 20 EMA. So we'll have to see what that does, if that continues to push up from there, or if that breaks down and we retrace even further. So that was last week's hot. Last week's not hot stock was ASAN, Asana. And you can tell that it just had a massive move down, and it kept moving down, gap down even on a good earnings, kept getting pushed down by the EMAs here, popped up a little bit, but then could not maintain that. This line right here showing some support, got broken on bad earnings report. And, Asana not really recovering very well. It did move up the last couple of days, but just minimally. Honestly, it's still stuck below these EMAs. I would not be surprised if it runs into this 10 EMA, the red line right here, and then gets pushed back down, kind of like it did back here and back here. There. I mean, it just seems to be kind of the pattern that is going on. So that's Asana, and that's not hot still. So moving on to this week. Well, what do we got this week in store? So for our hot stock this week, I'm just looking over here. I want to make sure that I don't miss any comments, and want to make sure I've got everything set up properly here. I kind of got a new setup going, but it's going to be a good thing, guys. Hot stock for this week, we have Lockheed Martin. So let's break this down right here. So what does Lockheed Martin do? Well, they're manufacturers of defense, really for our country, and so they produce a lot of military aircraft, including the F-16, the F-22, and the F-35. Those are all produced by Lockheed Martin, and they produce other military airplanes as well, some cargo airplanes, and a whole bunch of systems. So that's what they are, is they're, national defense. And you look at what's going on, unfortunately, in the Ukraine, and you got to think like, well, how much is the United States going to get involved? We don't know at this time. Is this going to, we're praying that it doesn't turn into a full-blown, massive war like we've seen in history in the past. But, with that potential on the table, a company that produces, weapons essentially is going to have a lot more need there. So you look at the chart here, and on this day, this is February 24th. This is when Russia invaded Ukraine. Now, the market gapped down. Most stocks were down tremendously that day, but Lockheed Martin actually had gapped up that day. It's going to be going pretty counter to a lot of what the market is in a time like this. Next 3 days, massive moves up. I mean, it was already moving up a little bit, as things were kind of heating up. What is Russia going to do? They're piling up on the border. And that was, so you see Lockheed Martin kind of heating up right here. And then there was the invasion day, and then just moved up quite a bit. Kind of got stagnant in the mid 400s range. And the last couple days has actually started to move down. And that's because there's hopefully some good news coming out of that region, where we have some peace talks that are going on and ongoing, as you could see from, bring it right back to the S&P real quick. This move up, a lot of that's because of these peace talks that are still ongoing. So that's Lockheed Martin. So it is our hot stock because it has been extremely hot. I mean, a couple months ago, we were down, 330, 340. And just a few days ago was up at nearly 480. So that is definitely hot, and we definitely know the reason why. And if the peace talks continue, I would imagine you see Lockheed Martin continue down some. And we're of course praying that the war just officially ends really soon. And if that happens, you would probably see Lockheed Martin come back down to its normal range. Let's look at the last year. So the last year here has been between 390, 330, so mid 300s, somewhere in that range. But while things are still pretty volatile overseas, and with everything going on, you would expect to see that stock to still be more elevated. All right, now let's take a look at what is our not hot stock of the week. There we go, not hot stock. And we have American Airlines. All right, let's break this down. So we got a couple things in play, which is going to make things hard, not just for American Airlines. Actually, your not hot industry for the week is just airlines in general, right? Now, I've worked in the aviation industry for many years. That was my previous life. Used to fly, also did ground operations for Southwest Airlines. So I know the aviation industry really well. The two biggest expenses for airlines are going to be one, fuel, and two, labor. Now, we're all very familiar with what's been happening with fuel prices. Just go fill up your car today, and you have these, eye-popping numbers coming out like, whoa, okay, that's more than last time. And that's nothing new. We've all been seeing the memes on Facebook and, all that stuff, seeing it on the news. Gas prices are high, unprecedentedly high. Like it's crazy. Now that's going to eat into profits of airlines quite a bit. The second thing we're also pretty aware of is this whole labor shortage. There's just more demand for labor than there are people that are wanting to fill that right now. And that has caused wages to increase across the board. Every industry, people are making more money. And that is also true for the airlines. I've seen, at Southwest where I used to work, I've seen the wages increase dramatically. So you talk about your two biggest expenses in your industry, fuel and labor, and both of those are dramatically higher than they were, say, a year or 2 years ago. That's going to really cut into your profits and cut into your ability to do business. And keep in mind, guys, the airline industry is still hurting over COVID. Travel has come back some. Leisure travel has almost returned back to normal. It's the business travel that has not really returned. Before COVID, there were many business travelers out there, and that's a pretty large chunk of the overall travel that goes on. But when COVID happened, people were forced onto Zoom and different platforms in order to be able to meet. Many decided, this actually works out fine. Many companies were like, we're not going to go back to traveling. You can stay home, do the Zoom meetings. It's more cost effective. It saves you time. We get better use out of your time. So business travel has not returned in the way that airlines were hoping. And so the overall travel market is not back up to pre-COVID times. And so you look at, we'll just take a look at the largest airline in the world, actually. American Airlines is the largest airline in the world. They measure that by the amount of seats that are flown. So it's not how many airplanes you got or whatever. It's the amount of seats that you've flown. And we look at the chart here, and June of last year, so, less than a year ago here, they're up at about $26 a share. And then, it's just kind of going sideways a little bit, starting a downtrend. And then you get some of this action going on with the war and everything. And just a few days ago, it was down as low as nearly $12 a share. So less than half. And this is a high point post the COVID crash. Let's take a look further out here. It was even higher. Pre-COVID, we were up in the mid 30s. And then when COVID hit, you can see the massive drop that they experienced. You went from about 30 down to single digits for American Airlines, down to about $8 a share. So that was pretty huge. They had a couple spikes, couple recoveries. It looked like they were in good recovery shape. And if you look at most airline stocks, they're going to look very similar to this. So I'm not really picking on American here. United's chart looks almost identical. Delta's, Southwest, pretty similar also. You almost see a little M forming right there, right? Got some recovery, a little M forming, started to move down here. But now, starting to go back down and almost flirt with those single digit numbers again. So, that's why American Airlines and honestly the airline industry in general is our not hot stock of the week. It's those fuel prices. It's those labor prices. You think it might be, the cost of airplanes. I mean, Southwest Airlines, for example, has over 700 airplanes in its fleet. Each of their 737s brand new runs about $100 million. So, you run the math on that. What is that? 70 billion plus in assets. But, that's, year over year, that's not going to be the biggest expense. It's going to be that fuel and labor. So that just gives you an idea of exactly how expensive that is. And now you can get a better idea of how much that really is impacting them. An industry that has already just been getting beat down by COVID and what's going on, now getting beat down on their two highest expenses as well. So that's our not hot stock or really industry for the day. for the week. So want to let you know about a couple things coming up in here. Let me make sure I got the comments here. All right. Yes, I see some comments. Love that. Yep, ETF Jets looks like it's down about 12% the last month. Yeah, I mean, that's, aviation in general is just taking a bit of a hit right now, and they always will when those gas prices, fuel prices are high, and labor prices are high. So thank you for those comments. That's very good there. I want to let you guys know about step 1, start your journey. If you have been liking what you're seeing and you want to learn more about how you can start trading yourself and just learn more about the market in general, feel free to register for step 1, start your journey at tradeway.com/events page. You can also just go to tradeway.com and then hit the red online virtual events button in the very middle. It's red. And you can see all the different events that we're offering there. But step 1, start your journey is one that you're going to want to look for. And that will be taught next weekend. I'm helping out with that one, actually. So next weekend, Friday and Saturday is when that one's going to be done. And again, that's tradeway.com/events, dash page. That's where you can find that. If you have already taken step 1 and you're already in our system, maybe you've already done steps 2, 3, and 4, and you're ready to learn more this weekend. So actually starting tomorrow morning, so tomorrow and Saturday, we've got Ben and Jared Russell, not brothers, but, might as well be. Ben and Jared Russell are teaching Workshop 1. This is a great course. If you've taken steps 1 through 4, you've learned a bunch of strategies, and now Workshop 1 is putting those pieces together, how to take those strategies and really dive into how to make this thing work. It's really getting smart about trading like a professional and how they go about this. So that is Workshop 1 that starts tomorrow morning. There's still time to register. If you want to register for that, same thing, tradeway.com/events page, and you'll be able to find it there. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this Stock Talk Thursday. We hope to see you guys next week. Remember, it's still going to be that new time of 12 p.m. Central Time. So we'll see you guys at noon next week. See ya.